heard Senator Murkomen state unequivocally that the president should stop lying to the nation and he should now deliver the things he itemized. Mr. Speaker, is it in order for him to run away from his statement and try to persuade us that he didn't make those statements? Mr. Speaker, I urge you that if he cannot withdraw the statement now, you will look at the proceedings of the House in the afternoon or tomorrow, and he should accordingly withdraw and apologize.
Mr. Speaker, I didn't say the president lied.
Senator Murkomen, just yes. To inform you, Standing Order 96, contents of speeches, neither the personal conduct of the president nor the conduct of the speaker or any judge nor the judicial conduct of any other person performing judicial functions nor any contact of the head of state or government or the representative in Kenya of any friendly country or the conduct of the holder of an office whose removal from such office is dependent upon a decision of the Senate shall be referred to adversely, except upon a specific substantive motion of which at least 3 days notice has been given. So I think
thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am aware of the standing order. I am very clear in my debate. I am within the debating rules. I just want to conclude by saying this, that I hope, Mr. Speaker, by removing me and Senator Susan Kihika, and procedurally and illegally and unconstitutionally, it will improve the relationship between this House and the National Assembly. It will also improve, Mr. Speaker, the executive promises to this House. Then I hope, Mr. Speaker, the President will not sign any other bill that, Mr. Speaker, concerns counties that doesn't come through this House. Mr. Speaker, I will remain focused on the rule of law, on the things that affect Kenyans, on defending the people of Elgeyo Marakwet, whom I am so grateful that they elected a son of a squatter to come to this House. And Mr. Speaker, to my adversaries, I want to tell them you can celebrate, you can cheer, you can be happy. I will be coming back, and coming back big. And Mr. Speaker, with all those remarks, I just want to say this. I know you will say the conduct of the Speaker is being put in doubt. You are my friend. I've known you for long. You've been a DC in my place. I knew you when you were governor. I moved the motion. I defended you here when Orengo and Wetangula wanted to bring Senate documents against you. Mr. Speaker, this is not your decision. You made this decision under duress and undue influence. And I'm sorry you had to do it.
Order,
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Order, Senator Murkomen.
Mr. Speaker.
Order.
On a point of order, those remarks about the Speaker, and I've been in this House many years, and I've had wars with speakers. I've had a war with Kaparo, Senator Kaparo, but never in the history of my life in Parliament would I address the Speaker in the manner in which you have been addressed. Mr. Speaker, if Mr. Murkomen, Senator Murkomen, wants to proceed to be part of this House, he should have no alternative but withdraw those remarks that he has made about you personally. Because when you sit on that chair, the person, Ken Lusaka, is not the equivalent of the Speaker of the Senate. He cannot undermine the authority of your office. So, Mr. Speaker, I demand that he withdraws and apologizes. And by the way, Mr. Speaker, we are going to speak on this issue since the other side has responded. We are also going to speak on this issue, the legality of the decision and whatever they also been doing. We are going to address those issues. And I hope this continues in the afternoon.
Senator Linturi.
Then you wonder, how is it that our total number is 38, but now we have a list of 40 and no reference is made? But I look forward, like Senator Murkomen has stated, to the reasoned ruling by the Speaker. I hope it will be here sooner than later.
All right.
But yes, I was about to actually, before I sit, quote one Ted Kennedy, who, before he passed on, was a senator.
Order, Senator Kaniri, Senator Mazayo.
Oh, okay.
Proceed, Senator Kihika.
Thank you. So as I was saying, because we know that the reason what happened or the reason that there was a coup is maybe because we are a little more independent-minded than would be okay in some quarters. So as I sit, I will read these.
What is it, Senator? You have really interrupted Senator Kihika.
I don't know what with these people. Sure.
What is...
Surely.
Yeah, you know, Senator Mazayo, and I'm not trying to gag you. I'll still allow you. But at the beginning, I said, let's try and manage this. You can say the same things and manage ourselves so that we make progress.
Bwana Spika, hoja nidhamu Bwana Spika. Kwa sababu nataka kumkosoa mahali.
Yes.
Bwana Spika, nilikuwa nauliza kulikuwa na mapinduzi vile ambavyo inaambiwa kwamba kulikuwa na coup.
According to her,
manake kwa
in the
sababu
party,
tunavyoelewa,
that's she says according to her in the party,
yani kuna kuwa na mapinduzi, mageuzi ambayo si ya kihalali.
Senator Mazayo, remember we said we distinguish between party activities and House proceedings. Senator Kihika has managed to maneuver the issue of the House carefully up to now. Her views about the party is something that perhaps she could have a latitude, of course within the rules also, to have her own opinion. Because if there was a coup in our party, this is not the place where the party where we can discuss that.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I'm really trying to finish, but these mourners who are mourning more than the bereaved just keep interrupting. But anyway, they would, if there was a coup in our party, they are not members of our party, so they wouldn't know. So I'm just responding to the point of order. But anyway, like I said, sometimes it's difficult when you're independent-minded, and sometimes it's difficult when you see things differently. However, I want to also still thank the senators in the Jubilee Party who had given me the privilege to serve them as the whip in the House, so I want to thank them. I know there was a lot of coercion, there was a lot of intimidation, but I understand. Like we were told earlier this morning, it is politics, and that's just the way it is. So, with the cause that I have been pursuing, I will continue to even pursue it more vigorously. I know one of the issues that they had with me was because I stood up for the people of Kariobangi, and I'm told I'm a whip, I should not be able to speak on evictions in Kariobangi. So here is the quote from Ted Kennedy as I sit. For all those whose cares have been our concern, the work goes on. The cause endures, the hope still lives, and the dream shall never die. So we may be down, but we are not out. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Oh, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also rise to make just a few comments on what has taken place earlier today. And without obviously being cognizant of how you have ruled and knowing that I cannot and I'm not attacking what has been communicated, it's also important that I just ask, or I just pause, or I just state a few facts for the record, because it's important, and it is a house of record after all. I would hope that in the future, we would see more of really due process in these sorts of things. It's happened before on the other side of the aisle. But in that scenario, and the reason I bring it up is because the others have mentioned it before, so it's important that I also just make a note of it, or just state it, that when the previous leader of minority, Senator Wetangula, was initially removed by the NASA coalition, the ruling by the Speaker was that the decision had to be communicated by the minority whip, which clearly here today, that never happened. So it seems the rules of the game change as time passes or perhaps as directions are given, but we go on. And what I would probably wish to state for those senators who have talked about we move on and let the House continue working, you shouldn't worry about that. Obviously, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm here because I'm the senator of Nakuru County. And the decision this morning does not change that. So I will continue to work for the people of Nakuru County and to be an active senator in this House. But at the same time, it's important to also note that, as my age mate there, granted, you should really, Senator Haniri, you should never really state the age of a lady because people might find out your age and then be able to determine mine.
Now you are protesting after the fact.
After the fact.
I gave you an opportunity to protest.
No, but I don't mind. I don't mind. Just don't say it again.
Out of the window. Yeah.
Mr. Speaker, sorry. So anyway, as Senator Haniri and Senator Ochilo have stated here, it happens. I mean, it's politics. At the end of the day, we know, and it's clear, and it's obvious. When you have a list here that includes an independent senator in the House, it is a travesty of justice. But at the same time, we are just going to sit here and pretend and continue that it's business as usual. And we shall continue doing that. And it will happen again as it's happened before, and it will happen in the future. But at the same time, don't try to gag us. Let us be able to just say it. So as we proceed, we also know that there was an order. There was an order this morning from the Political Parties Dispute Tribunal, and we know there was no reference made of it. So as we continue to just bend the law, continue with the fraud, and continue with everything, then perhaps we should not continue sitting here and pretending that as a parliament we are independent, because we are not. We are directed from other chambers, from other quarters, and that is why such a communication does not come from the whip, but comes from wherever you know it came from. But that's okay, that's for another day, it will happen to others. We move on. But we shall fight and continue fighting for our cause, and we are sure and we know, and it's no secret, that probably the reason we were replaced in a dictatorial manner and probably did not follow the proper procedure is because we are independent-minded. We shall continue to be independent-minded, and Mr. Speaker, as I sit, I shall leave, I will read a quote here from Senator
What is it, Senator Perez?
Ted Kennedy. Why does Senator, anyway, calm down.
She's on a point of order.
I mean,
what is it? What is out of order?
Mr. Speaker, is it in order for the Senator for Nakuru to start telling this House how they were replaced in a dictatorial manner when all this House, all the communication did was to communicate
it was not, she has not, let me cut you short. She has not said that they were removed by the House in a dictatorial manner. He's talking about their removal elsewhere, which is our opinion, because when I sit here, I protect the House. So she has not broken any standing order. Proceed, Senator Kihika, you are quoting George F. Kennedy. Ted Kennedy, yes.
Allow me to continue, because the sensitivity on the other side of the aisle is a bit concerning this morning. But grow some thick skin. We shall be here, and we shall continue moving. They are too sensitive. They keep rising. Please inform.
It's what Senator Wetangula says, mourning more than the bereaved. What is it? Would you like to be informed by Senator Murkomen?
Absolutely. He has a wealth of knowledge that I would benefit from.
Just say yes or no, Senator.
Mr. Speaker, I was a victim. I was eaten by my own at one point, so I understand what it is.
How come you are here? if you are eaten.
Mr. Speaker, just for the record, in 2002, we went all out to support President Kibaki to become the president. I sacrificed, Mr. Speaker. I was sacked by the KANU regime for supporting Kibaki. You Yes, thank you. Senator Mutula
Order, Senator Mutula Kilonzo
represented me.
Jr. This is not a place to market your
But
legal firm. Why are you
Mr.
telling us who your
Speaker-
clients are? Would you like Senator Kaniri to be
Oh,
informed
sure.
by Senator Yako?
sure.
Senator Yako?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Senator George Haniri and I enjoy a history together. We were in the same primary school, and we were also victims of the same
Eating.
eating. But fortunately, like Jesus Christ, we have resurrected, and here we are. So I wanted to add that to the anecdote of Senator Haniri and give Senator Murkomen hope. You will resurrect someday, my brother. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
So
Speaker.
the information
That's,
is that, okay, all right,
That's
yes,
very
Senator
useful
Kaniri?
information, Mr. Speaker. So I was just narrating that we supported that regime to come to power in 2002, and in 2005 we were sacked by the same regime just because we differed in principle. We didn't support the constitution that was being pushed onto Kenyans at that particular time. So I want to tell you, Senator Murkomen and Senator Kihika, your future is bright. Musife Moyo, your future is bright, just soldier on, but accept you cannot fight systems. You cannot. There's only one individual that I know who has done that over years and he has survived. Please don't walk that path. Thank you.
Order, Senator Kaniri. Order. Senator Kaniri, you have spoken so well, except the last sentence. What do we have to do with systems here? What are systems to do with what you are discussing here?
Mr. Speaker, is the party system. The same system, the party system, the system that fired them. You can't fight that, Mr. Speaker.
What is it, Senator Murkomen?